Here, you want to mute you?
Hold on.
Hi, everyone.
Glad you're here, Lee.
Hi. Okay. Grace is not here yet.
Yes, she is.
Sure I am. I just keep.
Oh,
it
there
on
you
mute
are.
so
Okay.
can't hear me.
You're in the middle. Okay. No, call the meeting to order at 7.
Okay,
Okay, everybody who's a member, state your name for the recording. Lee Wessler,
Laura Roby.
Beth Bernard.
Crystal Adams.
Jean Pillow.
Lori Barefoot.
Okay,
got everybody?
okay.
Okay, so no alternates to seats. Anybody have a chance to look at the minutes and, is there a motion to approve? And Pam Spaeth is here now. No.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second. Pamela Spaeth. I'm here. Sorry, I was a minute late.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the minutes, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
I was
Okay.
not present at the meeting.
You still allowed to, you can approve. But she abstained. Okay, so public participation. I see some names here. Patrick, do you have
Hi.
anything to bring before our august body?
Well, I don't know if we were invited, but we saw that it was delayed from the 22nd to the 25th. So we thought we'd join just to see how it works. We're interested in buying a property on Child Road and we'd like to construct a fence. I think we sent that in to someone to understand the process to do that. So we're we're learning.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We just, unless you're doing a subdivision or
No.
dividing a current property, we really
No.
don't have any That would be
Planning and
planning and
zoning.
zoning, you'd have to go.
Lot zoning, right.
Even though it's a conservation easement?
It's on a conservation easement?
Yes.
On the oh.
Oh. then
Town
that's-
owned?
Then you need to, I think that needs to be dealt with in terms of the easement holder and the terms of your easement.
The who?
The easement holder and like knowing what.
Well,
the term-
no, there's 250 feet. This is Child Road Development, so I think it runs along the entire road for, but it goes 250 feet into the property. And what we wanted to do is just put a fence along the front of the property, a horse fence type of fence. And we don't have livestock yet. And we read the definition and it says you need a fence. A fence is permissible for livestock, but we don't have any livestock yet.
Well, it'd be ill-advised to get a livestock unless the fence was there first.
Exactly, exactly. And we're being new people to town. We just want to be correct in what we do.
You know, I remember that subdivision. That's up by the campground.
Yes,
Albert.
exactly. Yes, yes.
Yeah. And the open space is all in the front of the property and the house lots are in the
Exactly.
back. So,
Exactly.
um,
So we go about doing that? Do we submit an application to you or zoning, or because when we call town hall, we don't get anyone?
I think you'd need to go through the, I don't see personally a problem with it because it's an agricultural use of the property.
But
And
we have nothing to say about it.
Yeah, who are you calling when you're calling town hall, and are you leaving a message? Because the zoning office is only part-time.
We emailed John. Valerie's also on this because it was just coincidental that we discovered that you have a meeting tonight. And I'm sorry to intervene, by the way. But we sent an email to John, but we haven't heard back yet. So.
Okay, at the ZEO at woodstockct.gov?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right,
So
how long
that
did you
is
send it like?
bailiwick? Is that his domain, if you will?
Yep, the ZEO is a shared inbox between John and the other two Tyke associates. And
Okay,
John, they're usually very quick to respond, so I'm not sure how long
Okay.
ago you sent the email or if he had to do some checking on his end of things.
yes, maybe he had to do some checking. So this wouldn't be anything, even though you're the conservation committee and it's conservation land, it doesn't involve you?
if it were some other type of use, are you from Massachusetts by any chance?
No.
Well, Massachusetts, the Conservation Commission has a regulatory authority. We're non-regulatory. So
Okay,
it's a different function.
okay. So what do? We can put up a fence or we,
I would talk to the CEO, as Crystal said,
okay, great, great.
and just say what your interest is in doing and how you want to do it, because you're planning to get livestock. And that particular property, I recall we really wanted to keep it for agricultural use, and it sounds like that's what you want to do, but you absolutely have to have a fence, and that's part of
Right,
what you'd need. So
right. We just didn't want to upset any neighbors by putting it in without having any livestock yet. And or a place, it also, we would put a structure somewhere else, but it would have to house the livestock. So it's a catch-22 in a way.
mhm.
Valerie, are you on by any chance? And do you have any questions before we let them go on with their meeting?
I am here. I'm sorry. I'm having technical difficulties. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, thank you. So from my understanding of the bylaws were that the bylaws had to be followed unless there was written approval from the Conservation Commission. But
what
you're saying,
bylaws?
the bylaws for the conservation easement, and again, please understand, this isn't like my area of expertise, so I could be using the incorrect
You're
word.
saying this particular subdivision, you
Yeah.
need to get approval if it's not for livestock. And right now, we only have 2 dogs, which we're concerned about either exiting the property or, more importantly, having something come into the property to create a hazard, if you will.
So just a quick question, who holds the easement? Is it the town of Woodstock? Is it like a land trust?
I don't know. I think
I
it's
think
just,
the easement is in favor of the town.
Okay.
yes, I would guess so. I would guess
And I
so.
don't think I've ever read one of those easements, so that's something that I guess we would have to look at the easement, but
Okay.
if there was a,
No, I'd say start by going to the CEO,
Okay,
and then then he would consult P and Z. And if they thought it was appropriate or necessary for conservation to review it, Delia would, send it to us.
okay,
Right.
I see.
Does that make sense, Gene?
yeah,
Okay,
yes, I think you start with the CEO.
so if he blesses it, it just moves on kind of thing.
And then if they want us to have a position statement on it, then, when we get all the facts, we can review it.
Okay,
Do
great.
that.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be a problem if
that's what he said,
if the easement's ag, then.
but we're paying a lot for the house and
Okay.
shouldn't be a problem, scares me.
Now,
Understood.
if
Sure.
we had input, we would just make recommendations. We couldn't
Perfect.
regulate.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Are
Okay,
you trying to get a response before you actually complete the purchase?
exactly. We have till the end of, we hope till the end of October, but we wanted enough time to do that. And we do intend to keep the space open, but we would like a fence and a gate by the beginning of the driveway, which happens just coincidentally to be in that conservation area. And
That's
but
one of those conservation easements that's divided up between the 4 lots that were created.
Exactly.
That's, which one would be your,
the last one up the road, which is number 71.
okay,
And that was David Hagen's house, or is.
and the other lots, did they ever get developed? I don't think they did.
Just there is one house to the right, but the remaining area is all open with no homes as you go down toward the main road.
Okay,
And I just didn't want to do anything that might make the neighbor next to us say, gee, why can't I do that? Or, so we like to ask permission rather than to do and then ask for forgiveness.
yeah, that's very wise. So,
Right.
And a novel idea, but
We're new, to
grateful.
town, so we would like to be upstanding citizens.
well, I hope everything
Thank
goes
you.
well for you, and yes.
Thank you.
The CEO will contact us if we need to do something and
Perfect.
meet again in October, the 4th Monday of October, which I
Right.
hope would be ample time.
Yes, it's the 27th, I believe. Yes. Okay, thank you so,
Okay.
so much. Nice
Nice to
meeting
meet you.
everyone.
You're
And
welcome.
meeting.
Welcome to Woodstock.
Thank you.
so much. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey,
Hi,
Ray.
Ray.
Oh, hi, how you guys doing? Hey, I'm just asking because I noticed, me up here on Foy Road, one of the residents just put up 100 acres for sale up here. And it's sandwiched between the Wyndham Land Trust and the town owned property. So I didn't know if there's anything that you guys do to help try to promote to keep that as open space, or do you let it go on the market without saying anything? I don't know if you know the property I'm talking about, but there's 600 acres that the Wyndham Land Trust had picked up on the Pomfret side, and then they have the Cartier Preserve, and then they have the town-owned land, and I know that touches Cabbage Hill. You know, it's just, I just don't know if you guys know that, but it is a scenic road, no power, so it is beautiful woodland, you know?
I
They don't-
bet you Wyndham Land Trust knows about that, but I
Yeah,
haven't,
yeah, I know.
I haven't spoken to them, and sometimes people put such a high price on the land that the land
Oh, it
trust can't
is.
afford to purchase it.
Right.
So
Yeah, I know, like you said, I definitely promote, I don't know if there's anything we can do to just, you know, the open space and the, you know, conservation to keep it like that.
what we could do if there was an application for a grant to buy the open space, the only thing we could do is like, recommend that that grant be funded. But
Yeah.
we don't, the Open Space Commission would be the
Oh,
body to talk to about
Yeah.
that.
awesome, okay.
It's contiguous with a lot of other open space, and
Yeah,
it would be nice to keep that whole block.
well,
open.
exactly, you said the magic word, it's a nice big block, you know?
Right.
It's,
But that, in terms of land acquisition, that would be the open space. Oh my
all
gosh,
right.
I'm not even gonna try to say all the words in that. Open space
Right.
and farmland preservation, and it's got a whole bunch of words in it, commission.
Land acquisition and something.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about, that'd be okay, I'll bring that up on their meeting, thank you,
Okay,
I
thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Is that a private landowner?
Yes,
trying to sell?
yes,
Okay.
yes, it is, yes, it is.
Yeah, I just
checking.
tried to look
Okay.
it up. I didn't see it.
Yeah, and if it's on woodland, like it may not be on like prime agricultural soils, which is, I think, weighed more heavily as far as some of the state preservation programs.
Well,
Yeah,
that's not entirely true. If it's in a drinking water watershed, it would rank really high for preservation. So it's I'd have to look at the watershed divides.
Oh, yeah, you'd have to look at the land. I'm just making a general statement, not a statement directly at that piece, just putting it out there.
Okay, hey, Jim Canning's here, so we can seat him. You get a vote today, Jim. Okay, treasurer's report.
Yes, we have our $1,914 in the budget. And our special is up to $2,461.22 because we had gotten two donations, one for $200 and the other for $100. So we're a little richer in that area.
Good for us.
Well,
And as
well,
long
those
as
those
long as we-
donations are for the Pollinator Memorial Garden.
Thank you. I know. What I wanted to bring up was spending some money after doing this weekend's at Celebrating Agriculture. What I would like to do is purchase a real full-size tablecloth with our name on it, so that it's just obvious when people go past the table. And seeing as we generally don't have any major purchases that we need to do, I did look it up. It probably would run maybe $120 for a full-size tablecloth, but just thought it would be a good idea.
Right. Any discussion on that?
Would it have the
Sounds like
town
a good
logo on
idea.
it, or it's just the name of the Woodstock Conservation Commission? Is
I
it a-
can put the town logo on if that thrills you. No problem. I just, as I said, I would like it to, I think it's very, not that we do an awful lot of tables, but I think it's just rather that than old sheets and everything else to just cover the table.
Yeah, that would be tacky.
Yeah, any other discussion?
Trust me.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And yeah, as
Yes.
long as it hangs down in the right place so that it shows when you, yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Good idea.
Good.
So do you want to make a motion there, Race? And have someone-
Sure, I would like to make a motion to investigate getting a tablecloth made that has our name on it, and I am guessing it will be under $150. I looked at several of them, and that seems to be a very good price range.
Our name
And
in the
what
Woodstock, the town Woodstock logo, right?
Sure.
And what size would that be? Because would it always be the same size table? Because I know this time Jean lent her table,
I know.
which is a
No, I will
smaller
go for
table.
the
Is that
bigger-
what you're thinking?
Yeah, no, I will go for the bigger size for a bigger table. And so if it hangs over a little bit, I'll fold it up. But, rather than have something that's too small.
It might cost just a little more if you add that logo, Grace.
What?
Might cost just a little bit more if you add that logo.
Oh, yeah, not that, as I say, it's not going to be a big deal.
I
As
think
say,
if
I
the
went
logo
on-
were, if it were solid color, like if we did a green tablecloth with white lettering and we did a white logo, there's the silhouette one rather than the color logo, shouldn't add too much to the cost.
That's fine. As I said, I haven't gotten into it completely, but it's not going to be a major purchase. The only one I was looking at, they were saying, well, if you buy 3, or the minimum purchase was 3, and it's like, no, I don't need 3, I need 1. But again, as I said, I'll just look around to some of the other suppliers.
Okay, is there a second? Jim
I'll second.
second.
I'll
Jim
second.
Jim second. Too late.
Okay.
All
All
right.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Okay, good job, Grace. Any questions for the treasurer? Anything else? Okay, so chairperson's report, just to update you guys, Ken Woslegal's been in contact with me, and he's still working on his talk and planning to present it to a couple venues. So he may come back for our advice.
What was his name? Ken what?
Woslegal? Yeah, he if you guys forgot, he's the one who presented
Yeah.
the climate change.
Yes.
Upbeat spe- the happy speech. Okay, any communications out there?
No, there was none in there.
Crystal, anything?
Nope.
Okay, moving on to old business. Jean, anything DRC related?
They're resubmitting the application for the subdivision on Plain Hill Road. Did we officially comment on that? Because they withdrew the application, but I know we wrote something up.
Plain,
Plain
Where's
Hill is in at Woodstock Hill. They want to put in, I think, 3 house lots, and they want to hook to the sewer, and there's a sewer avoidance policy in town, and I know I wrote something up about it, but then they withdrew their application. And I believe it's being proposed again with a sewer connection. So.
yeah, I don't think we all met. I think I think they withdrew it before we had a subcommittee meeting.
I'll have to look through my files
Yeah.
to see if I wrote something. I remember redoing it, so.
Yeah, I
did it.
I don't remember, Jean.
No.
We haven't had a lot of activity. It's been so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So that's the only thing that I saw on the planning and zoning agenda was to review that subdivision.
Okay, any questions for Jean? Okay, Crystal, anything open space? And
No,
what do
they-
those letters stand for anyway?
open space, land preservation, and no,
No.
open space, farmland acquisition and preservation.
There's no F in there though.
There's no F. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't have it in front of me. I'm on my
No,
phone.
I'm kidding it, Crystal. So go ahead.
All right. So no, at the last meeting, they primarily were discussing getting ready for the upcoming Celebrate Agriculture event because our last meeting was the week before. So they were
Okay.
getting that ready.
Any questions for Crystal? Okay, P and Z, other than what Jean mentioned, nothing germane to us. Anyone have any updates on stewardship? Nada, okay.
Sorry, no.
Hey, Jean, pollinator pathway.
Okay, well, first of all,
stuff.
thank you, Grace and Jordan, for setting up the display at Celebrating Ag Day. I saw a lot of people taking the handouts that we had on the table, so it's always nice to share that information. The Memorial Garden update at the Grange. I ran into Amy yesterday, and she said she's actually going to be the one to bring a backhoe and prep the site, and then she'll add in some composted manure to improve the soil because it's all, just fill in that parking lot. And she told me, just tell her when she has to have it done. She'll be able to meet a deadline, just not to leave it open-ended. So I looked at my crazy calendar and potential dates I have for installing the garden would be the weekend of Columbus Day, so the 7, 8, or 9, or again, the 21st or the 22nd of the month. I have not had a conversation with Joyce Larson about designing the garden. As Grace told you, we have $300 in donations from 2 different donors who want to memorialize someone at the garden. I spoke to the garden club because they have bulbs they're looking for a home. And I will ask them if they'll consider making a donation of bulbs to put in this garden in memory of some of our past members. And so at this point, if Amy's going to do all the improvements, and if we target maybe the weekend of October 21 for the actual installation and dedication of the garden, the next step then would be to get these dates out on a flyer and distribute it so we can get more people to consider donating to this project. So what's everybody's availability? October is a crazy month for me.
Uh-huh.
The October weekend, I'm in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm on the Cape that weekend.
What, the Columbus Day?
Yes.
No, you said the
The
21st.
You said the
20th.
20th.
Yeah, I'm away that
Well,
weekend.
Columbus Day weekend is 7, 8, and 9. And
Oh,
then
I'm
the
sorry.
one is 21 and 22.
2020, okay, the 20th I'm away.
Yeah,
Okay.
as am I.
And
Can you-
21st is no good for me.
Can you just clarify, so what is this date for? What are we doing to dedicate or?
To install and dedicate the garden. So I would like people to actually come and plant their bushes that for the loved one or be there when they're being planted, and then we'll have a little dedication ceremony. And
It's whatever's more convenient for you, Gene. You're the most important person to be there.
well, it'd be nice if the whole Conservation Commission were part of this project. My planner is in the other room. Let's hold on. The 14th and 15th is that weekend's out for me. I'm open at this point, the 28th or 29th, if we wanted to do a celebration on that weekend. Is that a better weekend for people?
I can do the 28th, which is the
That, it would
Saturday.
be the Saturday of that weekend?
Well, that would be the 28th, yes.
I'm away that weekend.
I'm here on the 28th.
Well, Lori and Grace, since two of the shrubs are being dedicated to your children, when are you available?
I just said I would be there on the 28th.
I could be there for some of the time, but I will be working the night shift the night before up until 8 a.m. So I do a double, like from Friday morning up to Saturday morning, 24 hours just about.
Bless
That's
you.
tough.
Yeah. But so I can't stay up all day, but I can be
No,
there
no,
for some
no.
of it.
Well, I'm hoping, I don't have any idea. Right now, it's 4 shrubs. So I don't know if other people are going to want to contribute. We might even consider doing the plantings in advance and then doing the dedication on the 28th. But I can push Amy to get the garden ready before that. And then, like I said, we can work with people to come and bring their bush or shrub or tree or whatever they want to put in. So let's go for October 28th for the dedication, and I'll make everything else work before that. Which I think that's trunk or treat night in Woodstock that afternoon. So keeping that in mind, if people will be taking their kids down to Roseland Park to go trick or treating. But all right, so we'll
Okay.
dedicate it on the 28th. And we'll
Okay.
get it planted before that.
And I have a pollinator question for you, Jean. The plants that my wife picked up, does she,
Yeah,
should we plant them now or do we keep them indoors till
she
spring?
actually picked up the wrong tray, but that's okay. So what you ended up with was Baptisia, and you can plant them now.
Okay,
And they'll, they're small.
Okay.
I mean, you might want to consider putting them in pots over the winter and then planting them in spring so you know where they are, because they'll get easily lost. But you also got Pussy Toes, which is it's just a kind of a ground cover that kind of like shades, and it has the flowers come up and they look like little cat toes, which is great for a sensory garden. And I'm trying to, I think you got 2 butterfly weed that are really nice plants with orange flowers, and they're really small right now. You might be better off potting them up over the winter and putting them in a protected area and then planting them in the spring when they come back up, because especially the butterfly weed, they're going to come up late and you might not see them and try to plant something on top of them. And an ironweed could go in right now, which is the square pot you got, and you also got some mountain mint. So,
okay, thank you.
okay. So that's the Memorial Garden project.
Right,
I got more.
okay, go.
The leftover plants that I got for locally grown day, I reported already that some of them were donated to Roseland Cottage for their new pollinator garden they're putting in next year. And then, of course, Lee and his wife Ann received some. The remaining plants that I have are going to get donated to Roseland Park for the rain garden, just so it shows that those plants are going into pollinator places. And there is a native plant and pollinator conference at UConn on November 2nd from 8:45 to 3:30, and it's $65 per person if you sign up by October 6th. So if anybody wants to get an education about native plants and pollinators, this would be a really good all-day workshop to attend.
What's that date again, Jean?
November 2nd, which is a Thursday.
Okay. That's an upcoming workshop. Anything else, Jean?
From Pollinator Pathway, no.
Okay, any questions for Jean? Anything else? Hey, Crystal, Sustainable Connecticut?
1 second. Okay, no, I was looking at the education of commissioners on their action, because I thought, oh, we could get that one wrapped up, but they've updated the requirements a little bit, and it's kind of specific to planning and zoning, zoning board of appeals, and wetlands commissioners' education. So I need to reach out to those specific commission chairs and see what they've done that would qualify.
Yeah, for wetlands, there's a whole online course for wetlands agents, and it's free. And
Yeah, I will reach out to Dan Malo about that, because he's our liaison with the Wetlands Commission.
yeah,
So,
I wish every town we made every wetlands official take that course.
Okay, any questions for Crystal? And next, Grace, do we have anything more with the Senexa Grange, or we?
Well, actually, it was very well attended. I was amazed because, well, we didn't have god awful rain, but it did rain most of the day.
Are you talking about Senexa Granger or the
I'm
celebration?
talking about the
I'm
Grange,
sorry.
the Grange we
Yeah,
talked about last
I
month.
wasn't- I wasn't involved in that.
Yeah, so I
was
think we
June.
talked about that, so
Yeah.
move on to
We can
the Ag Day, so
Move that
go,
one, yeah.
yeah, go on, Grace.
Let me get off. Okay. As I said, there were a lot of people there. There were 5 that were doing pollinated pathways and bees. But there were representative of several other areas, not Woodstock, which was, I was looking to see what was going to happen there. We did have Brooklyn and Canterbury and Plainfield. As I say, I think it was successful. I'll be interested to see what's going to happen next year. Don't know. Anyway, we did people stopped and, you know, as Jean mentioned, they did pick up pamphlets and stuff from us. And I would just, I would like to have seen more animals, but you know, that's me. They only had several. I guess one fella said they only had 2 pigs. It's like, well, 2 pigs is enough for me, but I would like to have seen a few more horses and, you know, cattle and the oxen, because that's my favorite. But I think people were positive, and they did, you know, people were taking information, and I don't know, I guess I would love to see it back at Woodstock, you know, but that's me. And I think we would have more. Oh, geez. Okay. Thanks, Maura.
I thought people would want to see you guys in action.
That looks
yeah.
All right,
great.
send me that picture. I'll put it up on our Facebook page.
It's a wonderful picture.
Don't start with me.
Yeah.
But
You guys look
There's
good.
nothing wrong with the bed sheet. It's the right color.
well, this is true. This is true. But
Did-
no,
Did they have the
it
lumberjacks?
was good, you know.
Grace, do
for
they have the
whatever.
lumberjacks?
That's my favorite coat in the world. Leave me alone.
No. At Woodstock Ag Day, they always have the lumberjacks.
No,
The
They did
contest.
not have the
I
game of
will-
logging. They,
Hull
that was not,
no, Hull was there, and they had a very
yeah, they
big
had
display
cutting
of their
demonstrations.
equipment, and they had you know, all the logs and board
did-
feet. And
But did they have the contest? That's
No,
my favorite. The
I don't think
contest.
so.
it
yeah.
wouldn't have been
not.
good in the rain
And
anyway.
not in the pouring
Sure,
rain,
yeah.
no. They
Okay.
did, Stuart did a hayride. And he had a couple of other people. I'm not sure where they went or what they were doing, but they did have a hayride. I saw them going past several times. But it was a little different, you know, but we
Yeah.
expected that.
I went as a spectator and I saw Karen Swanberg and she had planned to bring 5 horses. She can only bring 2 because they weren't doing any outside demonstrations. I did see some oxen hitched up, but I don't know if they did any demonstrations.
No, they did not. There weren't any demos. There were 2 sets of oxen, but because I
They
saw-
were
They had,
I think things got canceled because of the weather.
yeah, they had a cow that they were showing, milking.
yeah,
They had one of those. So they
Mhm.
had some pretty good stuff.
well, it's just, they knew it was going to be different. And, you know, as you say, the weather, as Ava said, you know, she thought that several people canceled because of it. But
They had no music. They always
never
have
have.
music and I didn't see anybody playing music anywhere.
I don't remember them having
so
music
have you seen
before.
that before?
In Woodstock, Woodstock doesn't have
Overtalked the
music.
musicians before. They put whatever barn I'd be in, they'd be having musicians playing and I'd have to talk over them. There were no musicians this year.
I think you're getting your events confused. I don't know. if
No,
I've
they
ever-
celebrated Ag Day.
I don't remember musicians, but maybe it
I
was years
I
ago.
remember Celebrating egg, no.
Back in
Musicians,
'05.
I remember Bill Reed playing with his group.
Not
Maybe in the
recently.
breakfast, in the room where the
Yeah.
Oh,
breakfast
maybe.
was.
Had his-
No,
yeah,
I've
they
been
had-
in the sheep barns having to, or the poultry barn, having to talk over musicians. So there just weren't any. But Maureen, you're on the committee, so have you made any of the meetings?
No, I can't. I don't have time for those. I went to a few in the beginning, but yeah, if you want musicians, I guess I can make that recommendation.
No, I'm just saying
if I
there
do go.
it was an observation. In the past, they always had musicians playing. This year, there was no
Gene.
musicians.
that
On
was the-
their agendas, I've never seen anything about magicians. I mean, magicians are magicians.
The magicians
Let's
made the
move on.
musicians disappear. Uh,
They did have a storyteller and supposedly
Yeah.
he was pretty popular.
I went with my friend and your grandchildren, and they were doing the scavenger hunt, and the scavenger hunt was really well done. They enjoyed doing it.
Okay, well, good. Maybe it'll be in Woodstock next year. Okay, so the last thing I brought back was Eversource because I contacted Bill Rathbone, who said that Eversource has not been in contact with him about replacing any of the things that were cut. So I wasn't here in May when Jay Swan was at our meeting, so how was it left, and should we have a meeting with Eversource again, or how you guys want to, what do you guys think?
I think we
Well, I've been
definitely,
driving down Route 171 where they're doing cutting up to like the stone walls on the side where there's a power line, and they're just leaving the logs there and people are scavenging them, and there's no grass seed being put down. And some of those areas that are now exposed are very steep slopes and subjected to rain and, you know, erosion. And I only saw hay put down in one place. But like, they need to stabilize the soil by getting some grass down. That is the standard protocol when you do something like that, is you get.
Now,
something
all I see is a
growing.
mess. They
What?
just left it a mess.
Right, so how did Jay leave it with us? Was the town supposed to oversee it, or should,
Well,
or should
what
we
I
invite Eversource back, you know,
As-
to attend
From
our
what I
meeting?
remember,
That's the joke.
Eversource was supposed to talk with the individual property owner,
Mhm.
at
No,
least
but
for
this-
anything,
this would be,
anything cut outside of the town, you know.
Right, no, I'm
Yeah.
talking,
Right
this has
away.
nothing to do with the property owner. This is town, the
Oh,
town shoulder.
Well, it's all
There's-
state road, so the town does not have jurisdiction.
yeah.
So who does Eversource go to when they ask about what they're gonna plant there?
The property owner.
Or it
But I
would
thought
be,
that was Woodstock, town of Woodstock's property.
it would be DOT.
Which
Because
is
it's a state
actually-
road.
In some instances, it's the town's property, right? But not on 171, because 171 is a state road.
Oh, okay.
What
So,
about when they were by your house, Beth? Did anything ever come of that? I know you had spoken to
No,
them.
I mean, they didn't
And
talk to me at all about replanting. But also, we told them not to cut any trees down, so,
Mhm.
um,
Well,
there was
right
no
before
conversation
you-
to be
yeah.
had. However, there was some areas that were cut that I didn't feel should have been cut, but I think there's a discrepancy in the town hall property records or something.
Mhm.
But they didn't cut what we said was our property, so,
Yeah,
um,
but
yeah.
between Rocky Hill and you know,
They-
that's where they've just done quite a massive
Yeah.
amount of cutting.
And you'll see the sections that aren't cut are like our house and our neighbors' houses who said
Yes.
no, and then we said, okay, you know, you could trim this dead branch or that dead branch, and they did stick to it. But I don't know, I don't even know who next to us owns that property. There's a discrepancy in the town hall. Like,
Yep.
it's very confusing. I don't
Yeah.
think the records are accurate. So anyway, they just cut it. I don't know, but they didn't say anything about replanting to me, but
The property along Millbrook by West Quasit Road, they left one line of trees along the brook. And the entire steep bank from the road down to that line of trees has been clear cut of trees. And again, that's an area that I guess they left enough to leave shade, but the steep bank is exposed and it needs to get grassed to make sure that it's not gonna erode.
but is that private property or is that
You
town?
know, it's Wyndham Land Trust.
Oh, so Wyndham Land Trust okayed it then?
I don't know that they did.
They can't just cut trees on,
Well, the
Land
the
trust.
parcel map is kind of screwy because it seems to show that the land trust owns the land up to the brook. But why would the land trust not own the parcel all the way up to the road? But they did it. They did a number there. That's the one place I did see hay bale put down. They put down a lot of hay, right on the corner of West Quasit Road. And it looks like, you know, and it must have been a path where water was just flowing. So they put a lot of hay there. So if there's any grass seed there, it's not going to be able to get any sunlight to grow. But if they're going to grow grass, it has to get in now because it's getting too late to grow grass. So they need to put in some quick growing something, or else we're going to end up with potential erosion issues into the brook.
right, but if it's, we don't have jurisdiction over property that someone else owns. So I'm asking, what do we do about the town property? Is there any town property that we're concerned about right now? Or is it all private property along? I mean, if 171 has nothing to do with the town, then they wouldn't contact Bill Rathbone about replanting anyway.
I think Beth had mentioned any state road, the state is responsible for minimally 10 foot in from the road on either
Right.
side. So we have absolutely no say on that as far as planting anything. It's strictly up to the state.
Well, should we ask a representative from Eversource to come to our meeting and kind of give us an update? Are they in contact with the state and what their plans are? Would that be?
That might be an
beneficial?
idea.
Yes,
See
I
what
think,
story they come up with.
I think that'd be great.
and
So-
also Jason sent out like a survey type thing. I'm not sure how we would get the email addresses for that, or if we would just link it on the town website, but I think that's a good idea, just to see, you
Yeah,
know.
rather than taking a shot at trying to send out a mailer and not know where it's going,
Exactly.
you take that survey, and just put the link on, you can put it on, whether it's the town page or Woodstock Proud or why chase the people down? Have the people come to you.
Yeah, and I definitely, I didn't give them when you sent it, but I have comments on the survey. I'm happy to share if that's something we decide to go forward with, and I think it would just be to check in on people's experience and make sure that Eversource is keeping their word. about
Yeah,
replanting
and so the one I sent out was a little bit humorous, right? I was just testing the software and making sure, hey, can I send a survey and is it actually free?
Okay, that makes sense. Cool.
Well,
There
I
was-
can
there was
always
one
post
question
it
that
to
was
the
like-
Woodstock Conservation Commission Facebook page, and then anybody could share it to any of the other Facebook pages, or the town might want to share it on their Facebook page, as long as they approve the wording of the survey, the official town Facebook page. You
I
have
think-
to review
I
the
think that's a
survey and
great
make
idea.
sure.
So back to what I was talking about, Crystal, I recall did you have a contact person from Eversource?
Yes, I have the contact information for the person we've been dealing with.
Okay, do you want me to write an email, or can you write an email?
I can invite her you want to invite her
Okay.
to the October meeting?
Yeah, please.
Will we have the results of the survey by then?
Well, we would actually have to write a legitimate survey, put it up put it out on social media and probably a couple different venues. So a month from now, I think that we can do it. If someone will want to either write legitimate questions or help me write legitimate questions, I'm happy to do it.
I thought
Yeah,
most
we
of the
probably don't want to
questions-
wait till December, when it's too late to intervene, so
So
I think next month would be important.
Because of FOI rules, we can't do this over an email. Like, we'd need to either do it at a meeting tonight or and add it to the agenda, or we'd need to call a special meeting specifically to get this done.
Can a subcommittee for this be formed, and they can have a separate meeting and not everybody has to participate like we do with the DRC?
I don't know the rules on subcommittees. I just know the FOI rules.
So whenever we have a DRC meeting, it is a special meeting. And it is announced at least 24 hours in advance, and we do produce meeting notes at the end of it. But, it's the people who want to work on the survey can get together and work on the survey. It either has to be on Zoom and publicly available, or you have to meet at the town hall. So people can attend the meeting if they choose to.
So people who are interested in the survey, could you meet live at town hall? And then we can vote on the meeting and just let town hall know we're having a subcommittee meeting.
You have to check with them, with the clerk's office first, and make sure, that the room is available.
I'm happy to help with the survey. However, meeting in person is real tough for me. Maybe, yeah.
Okay, so we can't do it via email.
No.
And we want it by our next. I'll just say,
Well, can we,
I'm happy to just do it. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I
right,
you
can
know.
we appoint, let's just vote to have Jason do it. And if Jason happens to pick up a phone and talk to somebody for advice, that's on him.
No, you can't do that. I mean.
But he
Jason
will
could
tell
do
you
the-
though.
Can't do
Jason
what?
could do the questions and send it out to the committee. But the committee would need to respond individually to him, not do a reply all, because doing reply all constitutes an unnoticed meeting.
No, I propose we vote to allow Jason carte blanche and to write the survey. Is that okay? We're not gonna review it. I'm making motion to vote to allow Jason to
No,
create the
but we
survey.
can review it, Lee. Why would you do that? Just let each people
'Cause-
review it and respond individually. That'll take care of the
Right.
whole thing.
You
Is that
can't do a
allowed, Crystal?
reply all. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I just said. You can't do a reply all,
Oh,
but you
okay.
can respond individually.
Okay, I
Yeah.
misunderstood.
So the goal of the survey is, Beth, you said something like we should limit it to people's perception regarding Eversource or, well, it sounded good when you said it, but
I think that we should make sure that Eversource is sticking to their promises about, not cutting on properties where they don't get private landowner permission, and replanting trees, and making sure they're talking to landowners about timelines and what the next steps are and things like that.
do we want to have, joking aside, do we want to have an option to, if someone wants additional information from us, either how to select plantings or, I'm certain that you folks on this, if someone said, hey, I'd like to go with native and, plantings that are appropriate for my area, who do I turn to? I'm certain that people on here could have some very ready, competent answers. Do we want to offer that as an option?
Definitely, I
Yeah.
would say yes.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
include that in the invite.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they'd have to come to our meeting for that advice.
No, it could be on our website. Just have a,
Actually, Eversource has a list, right? Did we ever verify that list does not include invasives?
it includes it
includes
includes
invasives,
non,
yeah.
Okay, so we don't
Non-native.
wanna.
Yeah.
No.
Got it.
Right. And that's why we want to get the information out there, right? To say,
Yeah.
hey, come to us for appropriate plantings before you
Right.
get
But I think,
whatever,
you
butterfly
know,
bushes.
and just put it on the website. These are the appropriate plans.
Lori,
But I
can you
think-
update the website? I think you're the one that has the password.
Update it with what, Jean?
If we came up with a list of suitable trees and we put it into a PDF document, could you upload the PDF document into the library and then have a place where that PDF document can be accessed through a hyperlink text on a page?
I doubt it, because that's not my expertise. I do have the password, but I don't have any idea how to do what you just said. I've never uploaded a document to that website. I might be able to try, and I could see if I could figure it out, but I have no idea. Never have done it.
Can I make a suggestion here? Rather than our trying to create a list, give people the option of going to the SIPWIC website, which has all the natives and it has all the areas that they should be in. It's SIPWIC, it's a Connecticut Invasive Plant Working Group. And as I say, that would be a listing rather than us, trying to give our expertise, which we personally do not have. Sorry,
Speak for
guys.
yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
mean-
I personally don't have, but I understand what you're saying also, Grace, right? Like, let's not recreate the wheel here, even if it's just.
Well,
technical.
that's it. I mean, the SIPWIC website is very extensive, and it has, you know, where to plant these things, what kind of soils you need and everything else. So just give it to the experts, okay? Just tell people this is where they should go if they need to know what plants to plant or what trees, okay? And as I say,
Okay.
it's CIPWG is the website.
Connecticut Invasive Plant Working Group.
Okay, perfect. Any other discussion on Eversource? Hey, moving on to new business.
Hold on. Can we just, so is Crystal inviting that person to our next meeting?
Yes,
Oh, okay. And maybe we should make that recommendation, tell her about the invasives that are on that list too, as one of the items.
I don't know if there were invasives on there. There were non-natives on the list.
not natives, not native.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
and we mentioned it too. We did tell them and they gave us,
Well,
that's why for the
doesn't hurt.
town, they said, you know, we discussed this, that
I
we're
know.
gonna. Go
Well,
ahead,
Beth
Mark.
had some really good resources back when we first started this of alternate plants that we should be using. I don't know. Do you still have that, Beth?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Didn't we have a list of plants that were better to choose? And we know that we looked through their suggested plant list and they had a lot of non-natives on it, like Coosa dogwood. And we don't want to be planting things that are potentially going to become invasive. They're not there yet, but they have a high potential.
I don't remember like a pre-made list. It's slipping
No,
my mind right now, but I agree with what Grace says. I mean, I think because everything's so site specific too, that SIPWIG is great.
Yeah.
and They can
I
get
didn't
more.
mean to start that whole conversation again, because I think it all got resolved, but I just wanted to say, I think we need to maybe be thoughtful about what we're gonna ask this person when she comes. Like, do we have to prepare for that?
Well, you know, prepare your questions, but I want to know what they're, you know, do they intend to take care of 171 this season? Let them know, you know, we're concerned if we do nothing over the winter, it's going to have detrimental effects, you know, on the local resources. And just, you know, an update where they're going next. Just,
Well,
you know.
why don't we give everybody on the commission some homework and
Just come with your questions.
come up with your questions so that we have them.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they're going to have a narrative for us as they did last time. And, you know, rather than deal with just that, we can listen to, you know, give them our questions. So please, as I say, think about it. And so we have them in, Crystal, you are going to invite the lady for next month, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We're on the 23rd next month is the fourth Wednesday,
Okay.
fourth Monday, whatever.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a 5 Monday month, so it can get mixed up in people's brains.
Okay. Oh, the 20th. Okay, I'll be home. I'm driving home from Philly on the 23rd. I'll be home that night. Okay, new business. We mentioned, Jean mentioned the workshop, Kakiwik on November 11th. If anybody's interested in that, we pay for it.
There are new members that might not know what Kakiwik is, please.
Grace.
Yeah, wait a minute. Connecticut.
Connecticut Association of Conservation Inland Wetland Commissions.
All right, whatever it is, it's very, very good in giving us ideas what we are responsible for. They always have workshops dealing with what we have to do here in Connecticut. And as you mentioned, it's very different than in Massachusetts. We are not regulatory, we are only advisory. but there are workarounds. And if you are available, as I said, let me know and I will fill out the registrations, and the Conservation Commission will pay for it.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's more than just telling things on what we do. There's like
Wetlands.
scientific lectures and there's legal
Oh,
Case law.
lectures.
They always do a section on case law.
Yeah. So there's legal stuff, there's science stuff. It's really, and you kind of get to pick which lectures you want to go to. It's a really good learning
Right.
experience.
I actually
Any
did not
other?
get that in my inbox.
I have a
Hmm?
couple. This is Beth.
Did anybody get the notice of it?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. So I'm not nuts, or not that nuts just yet.
Any other workshops?
Well,
I have a couple.
Okay, Jean said well first. So.
Okay.
if anybody wants to learn how to be a Last Green Valley volunteer water quality monitoring person, we will be teaching riffle bioassessments, which is a way of assessing healthy waters using underwater insects. The training is scheduled for October 7 from 9 to 1, and it's going to be at the Brooklyn Cooperative Extension Building. It's free. Grace, you've been in the brook playing with the bugs. You know how much
Oh,
fun
hell
it is.
yeah. I was gonna say they should just come to Goodwin. I'll be doing it with a bunch of kids most of the month.
No, this
Okay,
is, our data is submitted to the Connecticut DEEP. It is used in the water quality assessment of Connecticut. We will be doing several streams in Woodstock. So if you come to the training, then you can come help with the data collection on those streams in Woodstock.
Jean,
Okay.
feel free to use our stream again if you need.
I think your stream did okay last year. We don't need to do it again.
Yeah, well, that's good news then.
Did anybody notice the trout fishing signs on Millbrook?
I did. I thought it was silly. I would.
It's they stock the brook and you have to have a trout stamp. It's a trout management area now. So
Do you
it's
know
not-
exactly where they stock it?
no, I don't.
That's interesting.
But they put these signs up that saying it's a trout stream, which is why I'm so upset they cut the damn trees down. Because trout are temperature sensitive.
Okay, any
Yeah.
other, so Lori, was that you?
Yeah,
with the
Myers.
work?
I got a couple. This is Beth.
Beth, okay.
Go ahead.
October 13th is the Connecticut Trails Symposium, which is a full day conference about trails and trail related issues. It's in Torrington. It's the Connecticut Greenways Coalition offers it. And then on the October 15th at Goodwin Conservation Center is a service learning workshop on invasive earthworms. The Goodwin Gardens, some of you are familiar with the gardens, but we do have invasive earthworms now. And so they decided to study the earthworms and how to eradicate them instead of having a plant sale this year. So there's a lot of really interesting information. You can register for that on the CFPA website, ctwoodlands.org.
Hey, any others?
You might want to put that on the Woodstock Proud page. There was a post about jumping worms and the damage they're doing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'll check out for that.
And as they
And-
say, Yale Myers has their Harvest
you.
Festival on September 30th at 2 p.m. So you can learn how to saw wood and get apple cider and
Make
listen
apple
to
cider.
a band of some sort.
It's free and it's fun and they have music. And it's at their camp in Eastford.
That's where the music is.
I know I've had to talk over musicians at Celebrating Ag, so
Okay.
Sorry to bring that up again.
Okay.
Did anyone go to any meetings last month? Okay.
No.
Right.
No.
So open discussion, Jean.
okay. Remember that October is when the town is updating the parcel maps on the GIS. And I had talked to the consultants that the town works with about adding updated open space information and soils layers. And I've been in touch with them to ask them what format they need this information in. One of the challenges I have is that we need to get it to them by the beginning of October. And NRCS, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, who does the state soil maps, just upgraded. They changed how agricultural soils are determined. The prime agricultural soils are the same. And then there's a second category of statewide important agricultural soils. And then in Woodstock, there was a third layer that never was showing up on the maps called locally important ag soils. And so it made more soils eligible for farmland preservation. Big deal to have that information available. And now they've decided to do away with the locally important soil layer. And they took some of the soils that were categorized as locally important soils. I can't wait to see how Grace reports this in the notes, the meetings minutes. So locally important soils are no longer going to be a category. Some of them are going to be turned into statewide important soils. Some of them are no longer going to be ag soils. But the transition is not going to happen until October 1. And I've got to try to figure out how to get that data to the GIS consultants so that we can have the current ag soil layers in our town GIS available for our open space commission to use when planning for open space purchases of ag easements going forward. The other data layer I'm working on is a more updated open space layer. And I've been in touch with Brian Hall. He's a consultant who works for Last Green Valley. They have what they call their mega mapper, conservation mapper. And they've got the most current open space data in the area. And I'm trying to get Brian to send me the shapefile for Woodstock so I can give it to the consultant, so we'll have that information on our GIS. Again, that's important for our development review committee when we're talking about parcels and what open space they're near, and it's also going to be important for open space planning and linkages. So I'm working on it. I did have a conversation with Dawn Adeletta and Sid Blodgett, who are celebrating Ag Day. And I told them all about this. It was the first they heard of either of those two things. So we're going to try to work together to make sure that that data is given to the consultant, because this is our opportunity to get the map updated without a charge.
Thanks, Jean. That it?
Next.
Is that enough?
Yes. Jim?
Nothing.
Okay. Maura? Lori?
I don't have anything.
Crystal?
Nope.
Ray?
No, I'd like to say thank you all.
Ray, we're waiting for your application to join us.
I know. Oh, I'm like, what are we, PPV, professional participants? That's what we are. Thank you. Public participant, PPP.
You'll get a
Thank you.
vote. You'll do the same thing.
Really? And Ray, if you would please send me your email address so I can get you the minutes and stuff.
Oh, that'd be perfect. I'll send that to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Jason?
I have nothing else.
Grace?
No, that was
Pam?
enough.
No,
Good. Okay, I haven't eaten for 24 hours, so.
Really? I hope you're enjoying it. You're chewing well.
Yeah,
Whose fault
me
is that?
some,
Oh, did you have
got some
surgery?
chips. So I'm gonna call this, so anything else for the good of the order? Is there a motion to adjourn? Please.
Move.
Okay, Jim, any second?
I
Second.
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 Okay, Jason seconds. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bring your questions for Eversource next month.
enjoy your
Nice.
dinner.
Look for an email that you will not reply all to.
Really?
Okay. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.